Kanji is difficult, but why? Well, there are a lot of reasons why kanji is difficult. For some people, writing them and recognizing them is very difficult. If you look at some of these characters, they look like they would take forever to memorize, and you'd be right. In fact, most Japanese people don't even really know how to write kanji. If you watch interviews of people on the street trying to write kanji, they can only write a couple characters. Luckily, we live in the digital era where we don't need to write as much, and computers do all the work for us when it comes to auto-correcting our spelling into kanji. But what is the most difficult kanji character? I've heard a lot of people say Bian is the most difficult kanji character because the sheer amount of strokes that it has. And while this may be the most difficult kanji character to write, for me personally, I don't find it too difficult, mostly because it is incredibly recognizable. For me personally, the more complex and intricate a character is, the easier it is to remember because it's so striking. Take this character, Kame, which means turtle. I will never forget this. It is so weird looking that whenever I see this, I will know that that is turtle. The kanji that I would argue to be the most difficult is actually one of the most commonly used kanji ever. It is the 29th most commonly used kanji, and it is this one. For the sake of this video, I'm going to refer to this kanji as sei. Now, why? It's 5 strokes. A lot of what makes kanji difficult for Japanese learners is the pronunciation. The seemingly nonsensical and oftentimes random pronunciation of these characters and how they're used in context is quite difficult for a lot of Japanese learners, me included. The reasoning for this was back in the day when Japanese bridged Chinese characters into their language, they had to sort of use Chinese characters for a language that didn't really lend itself well to having Chinese characters. So a lot of these characters have kunyomi, Japanese pronunciation of the character, and the onyomi, which are the Japanese version of the Chinese pronunciation of the character. The reason why I think this kanji is the most difficult is because of the amount of pronunciations it has. It has tons of them. In this video, I'm going to go over each and every one and how they're used. Well, each and every one in modern Japanese. If I were going to list all of the historical pronunciations of this thing, we'd be here forever. This kanji is infamous, actually, because of all its pronunciations. There are even challenges on Japanese YouTube where people try to guess a sentence that is written only with this character. So this character, sei, means something like life. And I say something like because most kanji, or at least most really common ones, don't really have super simple, cut, dry, and direct definitions. Like take this kanji for example, sho. This character means something like write, but it can also mean book, or manuscript, or something that is written. It's a general concept of writing, something written, or to write. And for life, it's a lot like this too. Even seemingly simple kanji like hon have a lot of nuanced meanings to them. This one can mean book, but it can also mean origin, true, main, counter for long, cylindrical, skinny things like pencils and umbrellas. Now, this is not to say that there aren't kanji that have explicit cut and dry meanings. There are, like this kanji right here, kaki. This means persimmon. It has no other meaning. It only means persimmon. It doesn't represent the concept of a persimmon, or fruit, or something bearing fruit, or something being sweet. It just means persimmon and nothing else. I'm gonna go over the kunyomi first for this character because there are many more kunyomi than there are onyomi. In fact, the onyomi for this are actually pretty easy. There's only 2 of them. The first pronunciation is ikiru. This means to live or to exist. The most recent Hayao Miyazaki film, as of the recording of this video, is Kimitachi wa dou ikiru ka, which means how do you live? But this, much like the word live in English, can be expanded to mean a variety of different things. It can mean living and existing as the kind of lifestyle you lead, or just simply being alive, the act of being alive. But it can also mean to make a living, or to sort of subsist, to survive. Ikeru, while similar sounding to ikiru, means something a little different, and it's actually an alternative form of this word, which uses a different kanji. This one means to keep something alive or to help something survive. and it's most commonly used in the word ikebana, which means raising flowers, essentially. Ikebana is a traditional Japanese flower arrangement art. Ikebana is the most common use for this word. It's not used in a whole lot of other contexts. I mean, I did find some sentences like this one.
タバコ本に火を生ける.
Light a fire in the tobacco tray.
Ikasu means to put into use or to make the best out of. Like if you want to make the best out of a situation, you'll use this word. This can also mean to allow someone to live, like to let someone live a certain lifestyle. For example, you have a friend who is doing something that you don't completely approve of, but you sort of want to let them do their thing and not get too involved, then you'd use this word.
自分も生き、他人も生かせ.
Live and let live.
This can also mean to revive or resuscitate in a medical sense. Like if you use a defibrillator, you can shock someone back to life. You can use ikasu.
彼は医者によって生かされていた.
He was kept alive by the doctor.
This next reading is also an alternate form of a word that typically uses a kanji that isn't sei. It's the word umu, which means to birth. This is mostly used in a literal sense, and it can mean birth as in like the birth of a child, but it can also mean to lay eggs. It's typically used for animals.
鶏は3個の卵を産んだ.
The chicken laid 3 eggs.
This is an alternate form of this kanji, which means childbirth or product. If you ever go to a grocery store in Japan, you'll see on certain products labels that will say what prefecture the food is from, and they usually have the name of the prefecture plus this character san. I used to live in Kyushu, and in Kyushu, Kumamoto strawberries are very popular. So if you found Kumamoto strawberries at the grocery store, they would be labeled
熊本県産,
which roughly means product of Kumamoto. Umareru means to be born, and this is the intransitive form of the previous verb. This is what you use when you talk about people.
アメリカで生まれた.
I was born in America.
The next pronunciation is ubu. This word means innocent, like in an unsophisticated manner.
Okay, turns out I was completely wrong. When using this kanji specifically, it is a prefix that means birth. So I messed this one up, and now you have to listen to the robot lady like this is some sort of dumb TikTok video. I apologize.
オフ.
Means to grow plants, specifically grass or trees. This is actually not a modern Japanese word. I put it on this list because Jisho, the dictionary website where I did some of the research of this video, listed this as a pronunciation of sei. But I then found out later that it is a pronunciation of sei that was used in 800 AD during the Nara period, but I decided to keep it because I want to yap about old pronunciations for kanji. This is how the word is conjugated in Old Japanese. What is this? What the hell? Wait, I'm taking a look at this. This is crazy. Aerialis attributive. What the hell is perfect continuative tense? This is an archaic word, and it's what's referred to as nidon verbs. If nidon sounds familiar to you, that means you learned verbs correctly because it should remind you of ichidan and godan verbs. I swear to God, if any of you refer to ichidan and godan verbs as ru and u verbs, I'm not gonna be happy. I'm gonna lose my marbles. That's the problem that I have with that textbook over there, Genki, which I will make a video on because that textbook sucks, declaratively. It is a textbook. But anyways, I'm getting too off topic. Japanese, like every other language, has gone through many different stages of development. Old Japanese, which is the point in time in Japanese where this word comes from, is very different from modern day Japanese. It's pronounced much differently. I'll play some of it right here.
それ、カポよがりき。ここに男歩いて、その片手遊び時にタングピな金が、さよなかね時に、縦まで聞いたり。
This character is used a lot for plants, actually. This character is incredibly old. It is thousands of years old. It goes all the way back to ancient China. The first Chinese characters were written in what is called Oracle Bum script, which is the earliest known written form of Old Chinese, dating back to around 3,000 years ago. It is the foundation to the world's oldest writing system still in use, that being Chinese characters. These characters, being relatively simple logographs or visual depictions of certain ideas and concepts, were carved onto the bones of tortoise shells or any sort of wide, broad, and flat animal bone. During the Shang Dynasty, people would get these carvings and they would expose them to flames. Exposing these bones to heat made them crack, and the cracks would be read and interpreted. They were used for the purpose of divination, but later on people would start using these characters to write things down beyond a religious context. The original Oracle Bone script for this character looks kind of like a tree, and it was used to represent something in a raw or unaltered state, something fresh. And that's why I think nowadays this character is so heavily tied into plant growth. If we want to go down the old Japanese rabbit hole, that would add even more readings to this character, like payu, to sprout, and paesu, which I'm assuming is its intransitive form. And look at that, it uses the yet hiragana, which takes me back to my most popular video, the hiragana video. If you haven't seen it, watch it. It's a good video. I have one sentence example that uses this word, and it's the title of a poem, actually.
ぬばたまの夜の更けゆけば、久きゅ古き良き河原に千鳥芝なく。
When the pitch black night fades away, a plover chirps on the clear river bank where the catalpa grows. A plover is a kind of bird, and a catalpa is a kind of tree. If you don't know what a plover or a catalpa is, that's fine. It doesn't mean you're stupid, it means you're normal. If you know what plovers and catalpas are, you're the weird one. Or maybe I'm just coping because I didn't know what either of those were before I went into this. This is the title of an old poem from an 8th century catalog called Manyoshu. That is the only use of this word that I could find. I went on that big spiel about Old Japanese because these next two words actually directly come from Old Japanese pronunciations of this character, and that's haeru and hayasu. Haeru means to sprout, like as of a plant, and hayasu means to make something grow or to make something sprout. These words are not archaic, they're both modern Japanese words that people use. Like the Japanese term to grow a beard is hige o hayasu, literally beard sprouts. Nama means raw or uncooked, usually with respect to food, but it can refer to a lot of things that are raw. Nama can also mean like unpasteurized or unprocessed. It can also mean draft. Draft beer in Japan is called namabiru. There's a very popular Japanese tongue twister or hayakuchi kotoba, namamugi, namagome, namatamago. This means raw wheat, raw rice, raw eggs. Ki is similar to nama, it means raw, but more in the sense of being without impurities. Kiji, literally meaning raw earth, means materials or fabric. Kiippon means honesty. Naru means to bear fruit. That's it. It just means to bear fruit. I mean, you can use it in a metaphorical sense, but you can use most all of these words in a metaphorical sense.
リンゴの木に果実がなった。
Apples grew from the tree.
I want to throw this word in here too. This means calling, like your dream job, what you really want to do with your life. I put this here because this one has 4 different pronunciations. Seigyo, sugiwai, sugiai, nariwai. What do you really want to do with your life? Think about it. Think about where you are now. Is it where you want to be? Why does this word have 4 different pronunciations? It doesn't need 4 different pronunciations. You could just call it seigyo. I mean, I guess, you know, more fun. That's what my high school math teacher would call it when we get a difficult problem. He'd be like, this is fun. No, it's not fun. It sucks. Stop trying to make sucky things fun. Stop trying to gaslight me into believing that things that suck are fine. Fine. Fun. Both. For the final kunyomi that I'm going to go over, I have seen this pronounced as fu in some places, but honestly, I have no clue when it's pronounced this. If anybody knows when it's pronounced this and how it's used, please let me know. Leave it in the description. Thank you. As for onyomi, it's really simple. There are only two of them, sho and sei. Just like the other words, this can mean a lot of things based on context. It can also vaguely refer to the life of a person, like the lifetime and life experiences of a person. In fact, the word sensei literally means before life, previous life, the person who lived the life of a student previously and is now teaching the current students. It can also loosely be translated as preceding life, someone with more life experience than the average person in a specific field, like when sensei is used to refer to someone who is a master of a specific craft. So that is my explanation of the kanji character sei and all of its contemporary pronunciations, along with some of its older ones. I hope you enjoyed this. I want to do more videos where I sort of go deep into minutia like this. If you like what I'm doing and you love to support me, the best way to do it is through Patreon. Patreon is an absolute blessing and it helps more than you could ever imagine. For the $1 patrons, big shout out to Crashington, Depret Racket, Dimenzio, Ernie Barguckle, Kevin Garcia, Modula T, MZD Stellarnum, and Mitz the Fish, and Sir Boromir. For the $4 tiers, massive thanks to Amin Shin, Anthony, Bowaxer, Claire Schmidt, Fake Gamer Guy, and Theodore Witt. Honestly, it means the world to me, and thank you so much. Make sure to join my Discord server if you'd like to get in contact with me and also other fans of the channel. We have a great community. It's sort of small and tight, but I like that. I like my little nest that I have. I know I'm not a big YouTuber. I have 7,000 subscribers, but I feel huge. Just the fact that I have people that like my stuff and they care about it enough to keep up with me and get hyped when I release new things, it's pretty quite incredible. I'm gonna be putting out more videos. Expect a new video every other Saturday, so 2 or 3 videos a month. If you enjoy this video, make sure to like and subscribe. I'm trying to get to 10,000 subscribers by the end of the year, so you know what to do. Once again, everybody, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.